On September 10th, 1998, the Backstreet Boys were in Los Angeles, on stage at the Universal Amphitheater, where they picked up an MTV award for Best Group Video. But in only a matter of hours, tragedy would strike the band yet again.
It was right after the MTV Awards. I had literally, the night before we had won our award, and the next morning I had found out that something had happened to my sister, and possibly I might want to come into town.
Howie Dorough was only 12 when his older sister Caroline was diagnosed with lupus, a disease that affects the immune system. The chronic condition is one that patients can live with, but when Howie got the call that his sister's health had taken a turn for the worse, he knew he had to be there.
Just something in the back of my mind said, you know what, just get on the plane, don't even think about it. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning when I got the notice.
Howie immediately headed to Raleigh, North Carolina, where Caroline lived. But even that wasn't soon enough.
I had actually missed the first flight out, and I caught the second flight. And me and my father had just missed actually having like a few moments to hang with her.
Though Howie's sister had lived with lupus for 13 years, her battle with the disease ended suddenly. She was 37 years old.
Her death did come drastically there.
In fact, only 2 weeks earlier, Caroline cheered her brother on as the Backstreet Boys wrapped up their U.S. tour in Raleigh.
I always hold the thought of, my last concert with her in Raleigh, and just the excitement of her being there. And it was like so exciting for her to have all her friends and her family, because she's the only one that lives outside of Florida. And it was a big deal to her, being a small town there in North Carolina, all her friends knowing that her brother is a Backstreet Boy and everything. So, and I had like a big thing for her. And I think for her, it's like I think she kind of held on, knowing that I was there.
And though Howie was there too for his sister's funeral, he had little time to grieve, as real life collided with show business.
I literally had to get on a plane right after her funeral that day and go to South America to perform a concert the next day. And it's one of those kind of things that, you don't really realize this is all great, the Backstreet Boys and, in our lives and being able to entertain in front of people, making lots of people happy. But at the end of the day, like with certain situations like Brian's heart surgery and, or the family member passing away, it just makes you realize that nothing is that great, more than, your own life.
For the Backstreet Boys, Show Me the Meaning is a song that holds special meaning.
It was a very, very personal, very touching song to us. It was the last song we recorded with one of our very first producers, Dennis Pop, who, like 2.5 years ago, died of cancer.
And so it was in Dennis's memory that the boys decided on an intensely personal video about loneliness and loss. And like Kevin and Brian, Howie drew inspiration from his own life experience.
How's your family responded to the video?
It touched my mom especially a lot, Out of all of us, my mom took it the hardest.
Right.
Because it's like, it's one thing if, your parents pass away, but having your own daughter, your own son or whatever pass away, that's
what they say, you're never supposed to bury your children.
Yeah, exactly. But I think now she's, with the video and everything, I think now she watches the video, and I think it's weird, I think it actually kind of helps her, move on. She's like, she's able to talk about it, she's able to just to move on with life.
Hi, this is Nick.
He's the young one. Backstreet's preeminent heartthrob, Nick Carter, became a Backstreet Boy when he was still just 13 years old. Perhaps it's no surprise then that Nick's mother was never far from his side. Jane Carter has indeed been the most involved and most visible Backstreet mom, relishing her son's spotlight and occasionally stepping into it.
Nick Carter and his mom, y'all.
While ex-girlfriends have written books purporting to expose some of Brian and AJ's most private moments, Nick's secrets were revealed by none other than his mother, who dished up the goods in 1998's Heart and Soul.
It's really for the fans because they always ask me questions when I go like on tour or something with Nick. They always want to know about Nick.
But 20-year-old Nick, who more so than any of his wingmen grew up in the public eye, appears increasingly headstrong and independent. And while he's resisted pressures to leave the Backstreet nest in pursuit of solo glory,
I feel at one with what I'm doing right now. So it's like, no matter what people say, it really doesn't affect me.
Nick's relationship with his business-minded mother is strained. Jane Carter, who is now guiding the career of Nick's 12-year-old brother Aaron, actually spoke to the National Enquirer, telling them in January that Nick had devastated his family by not showing up to spend Christmas with them, and then announcing that he was moving out of the California ranch he had only recently purchased for them and was instead moving into a Florida home with his on-again, off-again girlfriend.
Are you still in the same relationship that you were in a year ago? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you know, there was a lot of talk that had led to falling out with you and your mom. Is that?
Well, not really. I think that.
It wasn't the relationship so much?
No, it wasn't. It was more deeper than that. It was definitely deeper than that. I think that was a scapegoat for a lot of things, for other things that were going on.
What exactly was and is going on, Nick wouldn't say, though it's clear that he is attempting to put some distance between himself and his mother.
She's been pretty involved in your career from the get-go. I mean, do you now think that maybe it's not such a good idea for family and business to be intertwined?
I believe that right now, you know, it's more so that I want to be just family and not business. That is probably the big issue, what it was. You know, now it's more about just me wanting to have, you know, my family out of business and just me, because I deal with it so much. You know, I'm living the business. I'm in it. So when I want to just take a break and get away from it all, I don't want to have to come back and deal with it all, you know, and all the business and everything. I want to be able to just chill. When
the press came and talked to her and was making a big deal out of this, do you feel like they were exploiting what was basically a personal family situation?
It is kind of personal to me, so it's, you know, at the same time, I'm in the spotlight all the time. Everybody's in the spotlight, so, you know, a lot of people know your business, and once you sign on the dotted line, you know, that's what you obligated to let everybody know.
Safe to say there won't be too many Heart and Soul Part 2 book coming out anytime soon?
Not anytime soon.